Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Youth Pulley Show. My name is Fabian Collins, and I am the host of this amazing show. So, first of all, I want to ask, how have you been? Like I always do. How have you been? How is everything with you? How is the family? How is the hustle? No, we're youth, so we keep on hustling, we keep on grinding, trying to make ends meet and all that, right? So, how is everything with you? This evening, we're going to be talking about something that kind of links with what we talked about last week. Last week, we talked about personal fulfillment, and I've received so many reviews on how the topic blessed people, and I just hope this one also is a blessing. So today, we're talking about something that also means a lot to me. It means a lot to everybody because it affects every one of us. We're going to be having conversations on the mind. Because I've seen the flyer, conversations on the mind. You can see most of us are joining in, right? Most of us are joining in. Welcome. You can always send your comments, so the conversation will be lively. Like I said, it's a conversation, so you can send in your comments, send in your views on the topic, and then we'll make sure we take them with us. Okay, so this evening I'm not alone. Last week I was alone. This evening I'm not alone. I'm with somebody very special, somebody with a whole lot of knowledge, somebody who is who I respect so much. I'm going to be reading her bio shortly. So that's her on the screen. Her name is Mrs. Omolola Ahmed. Mrs. Omolola Ahmed, and this is her bio I'm going to be reading. So who is she? Omolola is a legal practitioner with a vast experience in HR management, employment law, immigration law, and regulatory compliance. She is well known for assisting companies to design and review workplace policies. Omolola has advised international and local organizations on policies bordering on sexual harassment, workplace privacy, whistleblowing, disciplinary and grievance and acceptable behaviors. She has been published internationally on the world-renowned Lexology and Mondac, has written extensively, and has been invited by organizations to speak on sexual harassment in the workplace, whistleblowing, corporate governance, taxation, and immigration. Molala's passion for youth development has led her to volunteer in many youth focused organizations. She was a volunteer tutor at Jumpstart Academy Africa, an NGO focused on public secondary school students. She is equally a member of the volunteer faculty, Ready, Set, Work. Ready, Set, Work. I just hope I got that right. An initiative of the Lagos State Ministry of Education aimed at addressing the gaps in the skill sets of graduates of tertiary institutions. That is Mrs. Omola Alfred. Amazing profile. Amazing profile. Welcome, ma. Welcome to the show. I am so excited to have you with us. Welcome, ma. Please say hello to everybody.
Hi, hello everybody. I'm
Welcome, ma.
excited.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We are excited to have you on ground. We're entertaining a lawyer, so I just hope that. And the thing about lawyers is, when you say something, it could either be a fallacy or something something that is subject to scrutiny. So I just hope I don't
Yeah,
say the wrong things. Don't say the wrong things. Welcome, ma.
thank you.
Okay, so this evening we're talking about the mind, right? We're talking about the
Yeah.
mind, and then we're looking at first of all the mind as the gate to change. And sorry, give me a second. The mind as the gate to change. How to set your mind on the autopilot of success. You know,
Mhm.
how to set your mind on the autopilot of success, the tested and proven practices you can adopt to sharpen your mind, and those habits that sap the vigor of the mind. Those are four things, and I hope we'll be able to talk about them in an
Yeah.
hour, right?
Yeah.
So, but before we start, before we go into all of that, um, what was your impression, Ma, when you saw this topic? When I sent it to you, how did you feel about the topic? Would like to know.
Okay, so when I saw the topic, I was very excited, and you recall that because of the topic, I couldn't miss it. So I told I wasn't going to be available, but I told you I'll make sure I'm available for this topic, and that's solely
Yeah.
because of the topic. And that's because when you talk about the mind, I think it's a conversation that is underrated. Many people don't talk about the mind, and it's like the most important thing. So when you get your mind right, you get results. So it's like an easy way to getting results in life. And that is why I'm excited. And when I saw it, I told you I have to take it. So, and I repeat, I'm so excited to be on this show, and I know that it's going to be mind blowing.
Oh, welcome, ma. Welcome. Okay, so I'd like to start by saying, the Bible says we should guard our minds with all diligence, emphasis on that, because out of it
Mm.
proceeds the issues of life. It means that there is so much work we have to do on our mind. And you may have heard the question that if everything you own, this question, if everything you own is taken away from you, would you be able to recreate it? Would you be able to get all those possessions back? And I just caught this recently. And I said, if you didn't lose your mind alongside those possessions, then sure, you can get those possessions back. But if you lost your mind alongside the possessions, then there is no way you can, get those possessions back. Because the truth about change is change starts with the mind, right? Every significant thing a man has become alive, every significant thing anyone has been recognized for, started as a thought in the mind, started as a burden in our mind. So today we're talking about the mind, and we want to kickstart with the first subhead: the mind as the gate of change. The mind as the gate of change. And before I allow you to talk about that, Ma, I'd like to also read this quote by Marilyn Ferguson. She said, "No one can persuade another to change. To change, each of us guards a gate of change that can only be opened from the inside. We cannot open the gate of another either by argument or by emotional appeal. Nobody can make you change. Nobody can help you do the things you should do about your life." This morning, I remember sending out a picture quote in pidgin, and I said, I just hope I can remember it. I said, last, the last part of the quote was, last, who no one change, who no one do anything about in life, no go do anything. Last. If no matter how much you are motivated, no matter how much somebody speaks to you, persuades you, if you don't open the key, to change inside, nothing can really happen. So the mind is the gate to change. You have to first accept it in there before anything happens out here. So, Ma, what do you think about that? The mind as the gate to change.
So I like everything you said. I like the part that you mentioned that if you lose everything and you don't lose your mind, you get it back. I'll get to that
Yeah,
as well. But I think before I start, it's imperative that I try to distinguish, even though there's no much distinction between the mind and the brain, because we're talking much in line in this line today. So when we're talking about the mind, we know that the mind is the seat of all actions, and of course, it's not an organ. So the brain is the organ. We say the brain is the corresponding organ of the mind. So and people say that the mind is in the brain. Of course, when we're talking about the mind, we're talking about a person's intellectual capacity, the person's conscience, the person's um, behavioral pattern, and that is, yeah, a function of the person's thought process, right? So, and to cap it all, as you said, you cannot grow beyond your mind. I keep saying that it's like vigour. There are a lot of people that know maybe computer jargon. Vigour is garbage in, garbage out. If you put garbage in, garbage will come out. So you can't give what you don't have. The mind is like I usually tell people that the mind is like an open field. Whatever you plant is what you're going to get from it. So the more you cultivate your mind, the more you get results. So
yeah,
I'm going to. I hope we have enough time, but usually I like to use analogies. So I'm going to use an analogy of two people, right? Two high school graduates. They finished high school. They both came from a humble background, but okay, they both have maybe they both have a post jam form money. That's the only thing they have right now. So one of them, let's say one of them is Bayer, one of them is Tayo. Bayer decided to okay, have post jam with form money, just buy the form. It's not like I have money to further my education, but let me just buy the form and see what happens later. Then Tayo decides that this money is just how much is it? How much I need a lot of money to go to school. I need money throughout the 4 years of my education and decides to squander the money, right? So and if you look at our environment, our immediate environment, there are a lot of buyers and types. In my own set in school, there were a lot of buyers that didn't have funds, but one way or the other, because they took the first step, they were able to see themselves through school. And what's the difference between these two people is their mind, their mindset. So some people have a defeatist mindset. We will get to that later. A defeatist mindset from the onset, they feel that they cannot do something. You are failing before you start. So people
Mm.
like that cannot attract change, into their lives. So, and I usually like to say that you cannot grow beyond your mind. It's just as simple as that. You cannot go beyond your mind. So, if you check the stories, and I'm going to go back to what you said about you losing everything and not losing your mind. If you check stories of multi-millionaires that have lost things, if you check the stories of people like Walt Disney or Larry King, they okay, let's use Donald Trump as an instance. There was a particular decade that Donald Trump lost uh more money than any American, right?
Wow.
I think he lost close to $1.17 billion. So where is it now? How come he got the money back? Because now I'm not saying that Donald Trump is the best example of right, but in
Yeah.
this instance, right? So what happened? He got and now he's even his worth is more than that now. And why? Because he lost his money, but he didn't lose his mindset. He didn't lose his
Yeah.
billionaire mindset, right?
Yeah.
So we can go on and on and on about the mind, how the mind is greatly important. And I keep saying is like the most. I feel that everybody should be taught about the mind, like elementary, like basic, because it's like you can't get results until you fix your mind. It's as simple as that. So
Yeah.
I'll also be talking about if you look at people that have won the lottery, maybe you know somebody that won Baba Jebu, and won a lot of money, and everybody jubilating. Give the person
Yeah.
1 year, 2 years, 3 years max. You realize that most of them, I won't say all, because it will be a fallacy, right? So you realize that most of them will go back to where they were. Why? Because they haven't expanded their mind to the
Yeah.
capacity of money that they got. So
Mm. That's deep.
capacity of your mind w- is the only thing that can make you retain what you have attracted. So until your
Mm.
mind, the capacity is expanded, you only attract it, but you won't retain it. So it's as simple as that. So and
Yeah.
I'm sure all of us, you have somebody that will call you today and say, I need 2K. 2K is the amount. Please give me 2K. They'll call again. Please give me 2K. They'll call again. Why? It's not their fault. You know why? Because you don't change somebody's state by giving them money. You change someone's
Mm.
state even by changing their mind. It's when you
Dear
start
Lord.
changing their mind
Dear
that you
Lord.
change their state. So
That is powerful.
that's to say how powerful your mind is. So
And
you made reference to the Bible
let
earlier.
me say that again. You don't change people's state by giving them money. You change them by giving them things that
Change
help them build their own. Yeah,
when you change their
that is
mindset,
powerful.
change their state, because any change that
Wow.
doesn't come from the inside is
Mm.
not be retained. So it has
Yeah,
to
I'm
come
not-
from the inside. So how sustainable is the change? So if the change doesn't come from the inside, from your mind, it cannot be sustainable. That's simple as that. So you made reference to the Bible earlier. I wasn't sure I was allowed to do that, but now that I know I am. So some 2,000 years ago, Jesus, when he was on the sea, right, he told Peter to let down his nets. Emphasis on net, S at the end of net. What did Peter do? Peter let down his net, one net. So what happened to the net? The net broke. So trust me, what Jesus had in mind was him letting down maybe. So what that means is that if he had let down 20 nets, all the
mm.
20 nets will have been broken.
If
But
you, yeah.
what hindered him from that outcome is his mindset. So he didn't hear the net. He couldn't imagine that you're saying, oh, I should let down 20 net. In this same sea that I've been toiling since and I've not seen any fish. So you're telling me to let down 20, it must be one net. Do you understand? So that is
Yeah.
the how powerful the mind is, and how powerful the state of the mind can hinder outcomes. mind thing is something that I'll just keep going on and okay. There's this story of a little, but I don't know if you saw it, of a little boy. I saw it on YouTube. So the boy was invited to Ellen. So this boy from when he was 2 years old, the mother would teach him confessions. I am blessed. I am smart. I can do anything. So from the beginning, the Bible just say it. I'm smart. I'm blessed. I can do anything. But at a particular point in time, there was a shift. And the boy, when he got to the I can do anything, there was a stretch to it. So I can do anything. So at that point, he understood that okay, I can do anything. So and that is the place of the mind. So when you keep exposing your mind, you still get there on how to sharpen your mind and all. When you keep exposing your mind to affirmations and all that, it will get to a point because reading mindset is not something you do in a day. So it's something that you do, over time, right?
Yeah.
So to a point that you now understand that okay, Pastor Oyedepo once said, sorry, I'm a Christian. So Pastor Oyedepo once said that at a point he understood that I can never be broke again. I can never be in life. So it got to that point. Once the mind has shifted to that point, everything that will fall in place. If I think once the mind shifts, every other thing falls in place. Every other thing has to manifest physically once the mind has gotten to that support. So recognizing that you need a mind change is very important because any outward change is a reflection of inner change. So you see some people they'll say, I don't know, maybe you've heard, they'll say you can't shame the shameless, you can't shame the shameless, you can't shame the shameless. Because there's this fixed mindset that they have, anything you say, there's nothing you can do. I'm not going to change. I'm not, this is who I am. I eat a lot. So, you understand? So, people like that, they can't record change in their life. They can't because you have a fixed mindset. So, there's not how you can change because your mind is fixed. You can't have a physical change in your behavior, in your life. So, I don't know if I've done justice to that or you want to add to it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Now that we've heard all the stories, heard the analogies, heard the explanation she's given, we know that change cannot come from anywhere but the mind. Change cannot come from anywhere but the mind. It starts from within. In fact, the way she put it, she said that any change that lasts starts from inside, right? Change that lasts starts from inside. So you have to look at yourself, look at your future, look at where you see yourself being, and then look at your mind. Do you have those thoughts? Do you have thoughts? Do you have the mind that if you keep thinking in this particular pattern, right, for like say 3 years, would you get to that point that you see yourself being? For example, you say, I want to be like Donald Trump. You want to be like Donald Trump. You cannot just be like Donald Trump by praying.
Mhm.
It doesn't happen like that. You cannot be like Donald Trump by just reading books about him. Reading books will help, but you have to make a conscious effort to feed your mind with things that will position you. That even in your subconscious, you are thinking like him. You are
Mhm.
seeing things like him from his perspective and all that. So in that way, when you become like Donald Trump, it's not like an accident. It's a natural occurrence. It's a natural occurrence. Yeah. So change begins from inside, and in any change that lasts starts from inside. You have to take note of that. So we want to talk about now how to set your mind on the autopilot of success. How to set your mind on the autopilot of success. And before I allow her to talk, what I mean by autopilot of success is um, on a path that let me set an example. Um, in our phones, right, we have two settings. There is a default setting, then there's the other setting that you can, change and tweak and all that. The default setting is it came with the phone, right? It came with the phone, so that's just how the phone works. That's just how the phone works, right? So for this particular topic, this particular subject, this autopilot of success, what we mean by that is placing yourself and your mind in a default mode that even when you're sleeping, even when things are hard, things are not working out the way you planned, or things are not going the way you had imagined, you're just focused that ultimately you're going to succeed. Your mind is just made up. No matter what happens, you're going to succeed. And it's just going on the highway of success like that. It's just going on the highway of success. So challenges come, but you see them as stepping stones to your success and all that. So the autopilot of success is just like a default setting that you have to consciously make, that no matter what happens, you are going to ultimately succeed. But I'll allow her to talk about it. Then we look at how to, set your mind in that regard.
Okay. So, thank you so much, Vivian. Okay, setting your mind on an autopilot of success. Based on the background that we have had on how important the mind is. So for me, I think that the most important, because as you said, autopilot, when you say autopilot, it's like I'm not doing anything. So in the real sense of it, it's not like you can get to a point that you won't continually feed your mind, but there's some things that you need to do that is like the background, like the foundation of making success, through your mind. So I would say that the first thing to know is mindset needs to change, right? One has to sit down because you sometimes don't even know that you have this mindset. So there's this thing that there's something called the Johari window that says that there's a part of your mind that you don't know of yourself, that you don't know until somebody points out to you. So there's a part of there's behavioral patterns, that some things that you do that you don't even know you do them until maybe you expose it to somebody and say, assess me. Do you understand? And then they'll tell you. So mindset needs to change. So, and of course, your mindset is what dictates how you respond to situations and how you interpret situations. Number one, get rid of defeatist mindset. Nobody is against you. So this is you want to succeed in life. Don't believe that you are going to fail. So, and this is
Mm.
funny because people that have defeatist mindset, you going back to when they were really little, right? So when you say that a small boy will say that, "Daddy, buy me aeroplane," he doesn't want to know how it's going to happen. He just feels that he can. So why is he saying that? Because his mind is not. He feels that his mind is powerful at that stage, so he feels that anything can be achieved, right?
Yeah.
So what makes you so people that have the defeatist mindset have learned it, have been exposed to it over time. So what makes you learn it over time means that you can unlearn it, right? So the first thing is understanding that there's a mindset that if I don't unlearn this mindset, I am set to fail. There's nothing. If you have a defeatist mindset, everybody is against you. You are the only one that Nigeria is hard. In this whole Nigeria is hard. Entrepreneurs are making money. You are the only one. You are in a company. You are the only one that are against. You are not looking at yourself to know that, okay, I need to improve, right? I need to work on myself. I need to work on myself, right? But you are thinking that these people they hate me. They're not the only one, right? So people that have defeatist mindsets don't get anything doing with their lives, right? So I think that's one thing that needs to be, that's one foundation. Defeatist mindset needs to be. You can't conclude that you lose before even beginning and you now win. It's not possible, right? It's how you see, it's as far as you can see. Then we also talk about this scarcity mindset as well. These are mindsets that will deviate you from success. So some
So
people,
what did you
every
call it again? I don't think. What did you call it again?
scarcity mindset.
Okay, scarcity. Yeah, scarcity.
So it's also simply put poverty mentality. Everybody that is successful, they have done Yahoo Yahoo or they are fraudsters. Not everybody is a fraudster, my dear. So it is left to you. And what you don't appreciate, you can't attract. So that's
Sure.
as simple as that. If you don't appreciate it, you can't attract it. Because what you're doing, your mind is unconsciously pushing it up away. Your mind is disengaging from it. The more you attack a success, the more your mind disengages from it. So, but once you see people that are doing well, even if they say they're Yahoo Yahoo, good, they're Yahoo Yahoo, but I can do well as well without doing Yahoo Yahoo. So there's not what that is telling you is that don't let me put too much effort because I'm just like I'm even Yahoo Yahoo. There's no how I can be successful. Do you understand? So that's what that mindset is doing unconsciously. It will even in some churches, some people will come and give testimony. They'll say, I got it. They'll say, you got job. Don't we know how you're doing it? You can't attract the testimony. Okay, it's as simple as that. So it's not your business how somebody has done it, but what is the end result? This is what happened to you. I can do this as well. I'm not saying you should go about envying people, but at least tap into it and say that okay, this happened to you. I'm not going to start digging and trying to understand how it happened. The end result is that you got a job, and I want a job as well. So I'm tapping into it, and this will happen for me as well. So that is how to look at things. Not that you be attacking, you attack everybody. Every girl is doing a every girl that has this thing. No. So that is one thing as well. Then self-esteem, you cannot. In fact, you can have this whole show on building your self-esteem. I think that that's something that people need to have been taught right from when they were young. I would say maybe I was
Yeah.
lucky yeah, because I was exposed to that at a very young age. So I used to attend the church, my family church, that from the age of 7, 8. So there's a program they do for girls, and one of the crux of the program is how to build your self-esteem. Because if you have a low self-esteem, you can't. You've already placed that barrier on what you can become. So where people are talking, you're keeping quiet. You won't see anything. Say, looking at me, I'm short. Can you do anything about it that they are short? So did you create yourself? You didn't create yourself. So there's some things. If there's something you can, maybe you can add some cement to your leg and make yourself taller. We understand. But there's nothing you can do about the fact that you are short. Oh, I'm too tall. Oh, can you cut your legs off? You can't. So these are things that needs to be addressed. But I'm not smart. Nobody, you have to consciously tell yourself, build your self esteem. Understand that you are who you are. Do you understand? And look, taking it from the Bible, says that you're made in the image. So that's the highest level of self esteem. Understanding that you are made in the image of the creator. You can't be better than that. You're just the best version of yourself. Do you understand? So once you have a low self esteem, you're going to cut down. You can't success is like this, you'll be going the opposite direction. Do you understand? I know somebody, I'm going to use this instance. I know somebody that, right, he didn't finish, he didn't have a degree, like a university degree. Where he's working now, he's earning more than the medical doctor there. That's clear how.
Wow. Wow.
Because of his mind. Do you understand? So maybe he's looking at not, hey, God, they will ask me a question now. They will soon, I'll be found out. I'll be found out. They will soon know. So there's nothing about it. It's the mind. So when you have value in you. Everybody has value. So once
Mm.
you add value to yourself and make people see that value, there's no how they will place a price on it. So is this the matter of because everybody they say I don't have a degree, I didn't go to school. That's why I'm not successful. That's why I'm not successful. You understand? So you just be there and people be feeling pity for you. You'll be surprised that people like that even pass that to their children. So that's something about how you soon get to how you can guard your mind as well. Some parents will pass self-esteem problem to their children. So the children
Yeah,
too will have
that's
low
something.
self-esteem. They'll say the father will have told the child that those people they are fraudsters. All of them in their family, they thief, they are
Yeah.
thieves, thieves, they are thieves. So you too, you be going in your direction, they are thieves, they are thieves, they are thieves. When you see people buying car, they are thieves, they are thieves, they are thieves. So I saw I saw something recently, right, about some about how growing somebody was I think one posted it on Twitter that growing up they made us believe that the rich people are far away from you. So the poorer you are, the closer you are to so you can't be rich and be close to God. So can you see that mind engineering? It's the mind has been wired. So that way,
Yeah.
once you start getting, hey God, I don't want to be far from you. I don't want to be far from you. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
that is just how uh, the mind has been wired from that age. So that is why it's important that you wire. the mind to be able to attract all these things. And that is when you can now start talking of success or Jonathan, if all these things are not in place, it's just like you are just wasting time talking about how you can be successful because it won't happen. So okay, so then developing a growth mindset. Some people think it is fixed. I don't want to know. Thank you. I just fixed. Just fixed. They don't have a growth mindset. They're not open to new things. And you
Yeah.
don't want to learn. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
those things will not attract success to you. Then I'll talk about imagination, engaging the power of imagination. So you don't have something now, but imagine it.
Yeah.
Imagine it. Imagine that you have it. When I'm seeking for a new job, I imagine that I'm walking into my office. I don't have it yet, but I'm imagining it. So I just use this example. I remember when I went for my I had post jump tutorials when I was about to get into school. So I had the option of okay, doing post jump tutorials outside school or on campus. So I want to do it on campus. I want to see what's going on. Okay, so my friends and I would walk around campus. Okay, this is the route. We want to take this route. We take this. We're not students yet. Do you understand? Okay, these are
Yeah.
the other routes to class. Oh, okay. When we want to eat, we go to this place. I like that. This is where we eat. What are we doing? We're engaging the power of imagination. We're imagining that it's happening to us, even though it has not happened. So we
Yeah.
walk around the campus. This place is beautiful. I like this campus. Do you understand? Yeah, these are the lecturers. So what that you're activating your mind. You're activating your mind. You're expanding the capacity of your mind. So that once your mind is expanded, you can attract that. You can attract it. So we all got admitted. Next speaking, and trust me, you cannot capture it. You can't have it. So okay, then expose yourself to people that are successful. Some people they don't have friends. Everybody will sit down. Everything they're talking about is how somebody is doing how this one is the first time. All of you don't have one friend that you can point to and say that this person that is challenging you. You don't have just one friend that you can point to and have conversations with the person challenges you. It's fine. There are many people online. You can read about people like Richard Branson. Read about successful people. You don't have to meet them. Go and look for their autobiography. Read about it. Okay, read about them. It is how they got to where they are, right? So that way, you're telling your mind that this is possible. Okay, this person did it. This is possible for me as well. So all those things will definitely set you up for success. And of course,
Just so that.
find something you are passionate about. So don't be okay now that your mind. So
Okay.
can
Thank
you
you,
hear me?
Ma. Your Yeah, I can hear you. Network fluctuated at some point. Okay.
Oh,
So before I continue, I'll just read a comment I have sent from Adedoyin Bukola. She said, "The mind is a powerful force that can help achieve change. We cannot overemphasize the importance of setting our minds right to achieve success. We cannot. The mind is the engine room. The mind is the engine room. When there is force there, everything is affected. You can
yeah.
attest to the fact that days when you feel like you feel depressed, days when you feel like the whole world is on your shoulder, it is not like literally the whole world is on your shoulder. It means you're not at peace inside. You're not at peace
Mm,
inside. And the kind of person I am, I know that most of us are like that. When we have issues inside, we're not at peace. It affects everything. It spreads like a virus. So it
mm,
affects. If you're supposed to walk out in the morning, you wake up and then you're feeling too tired to do it. Even when you're
mm,
eating, the food is not it doesn't even make sense and all
mm,
that. So I'm going to talk about some laws, maybe like two, maybe three of them, before we move on to the next subhead. We're talking about this evening. So
Mm.
there is the law of concentration. These are age-old laws that have always been there. And the truth about them is, you can say that everybody is not the same, right? But you can't say that laws are
Mm.
not the same. The laws that lead people to success are the same. That is why they are laws. They are there. They are tested and they are proven. So the law of concentration states that whatever you dwell upon grows. Whatever you dwell upon grows. You wake up in the morning, you keep thinking and seeing yourself as somebody who is going to make it in life. Ultimately, you're going to get there. You wake up in the morning and then you see yourself as somebody that maybe because you're drinking Gary, things are not working out well. You have applied for about 100 jobs and then none of them clicked, and you're thinking you're a failure. It's a mind thing. It's a mindset thing. I don't know how best to describe it. Eric Thomas said, "Winners win and losers lose."
Mm.
And he was practically struggling to explain what he meant by that. He said, I can't explain it. Winners win and losers lose. It's a mindset thing. So if you think that no matter what happens, no matter what anybody says, no matter the fact that okay, let me even set this example, cite myself as an example. In secondary school, when I was in JSS3, we had as many classes as in letters, it was JS 3A, JS 3B, JS 3C, up to JS 3G, right? And I was in the last class, JS 3G, because I registered late.
Mm.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I was in JSS 3G, and while we were in JSS 3, we had lots of young people who were very, very intelligent. I mean, I was intelligent, but there were other guys in JSS 3A, B, all those classes, those classic classes, whatever. I don't know if that sounds well. Classic classes. That they said, okay, by the time they get to SS3, these are the people that will be senior school prefects. So there was a particular
Mm.
guy that they had said, this is the guy who is going to be the senior school prefect. So I didn't even bother about it because I immediately they said that I just looked at the guy. He's in JSS 3A and I'm in JSS 3G. Why should I even bother myself? By the time we got to SS3, by the time we got to SS3, it was so competitive that okay. By the time we got to SS3, I was in SS3C and he was in SS3D because of the fact that he chose humanities and I chose commercial, the commercial class. Anytime they want to have competitions with that class, maybe a debate or something, and they mention SS3C, the first person that comes to mind is Fabian. That is my name. So, but I did still think I was going to be fit for the role of senior school prefect. So I started thinking like that, and until one day we were called spontaneously to just come out. So they just judged us based on our results and said, okay, so look, you are going to come out and contest for this position and all that. And they called him and they called me, and then both of us went and talked. By the time I faced the panel and I was done talking, I felt like so I can actually do this because I impressed them, and and it was something I just did as I was talking with my fellow classmates. And when I left there, I felt like yeah, I can actually do this. But before then, I used to think I wasn't fit, and as dumb as that sounds, I used to think that there is this particular level of intelligence you're supposed to attain before you get a particular result. And I didn't see myself as having reached that level. And most of us are like that. We feel like people who are rich, people who are wealthy, people whose names have traveled far and wide, people who are remembered, like Abraham Lincoln, um, people like that who have died centuries, like died many years ago. They are still remembered today. And then you're wondering, I don't have that level of intelligence. I looked at Albert Einstein's IQ. I think they said he had about 180 something, Albert Einstein. And I'm like, I don't think I have up to that. Most people think in that way, and then as a result, they limit themselves. First 20 minutes of the morning when you wake up, what do you think about?
Mm.
The law of concentration states that whatever you dwell upon, first 20 minutes of the morning, first 1 hour, whatever you dwell upon grows. So if you keep thinking you will be a success no matter what happens, it will prompt you to do things that successful people do. And that's just the way it works. In the second law, I just want to quickly talk about is the law of attraction. We know that whatever you don't appreciate, you can't attract. But there is another, side to the law, and it states that your life will, like a magnet, attract the kind of person you are on the inside. Your life will, like a magnet,
mm,
attract the kind of person you are on the inside. So if you are a defeated person on the inside, if you're a person who doesn't have confidence, you're a person who is struggling with inferiority complex, you think that there is somebody better than you, somebody is taller than you, maybe because the person has more physical features, the person is better than you. If you keep thinking like that, you will attract people who are naturally like that. You're getting married, you attract
mm,
people like that. You just find yourself settling for less,
mm,
and it's not supposed to be that way. God did not create you, to do things that place you at the level of mediocrity. No, you're so much more. You have so much more in you, so much more you can do. Like our guest said, you can do anything. You can do anything. You just have to first believe in yourself, and then consciously think it. Nobody's going to think it for you. Right now, I don't even know what's going on in your mind. You're watching us right now. I don't know what's going on in your mind. You might be saying, this is not, maybe this is like another scheme by motivational speakers to whine us. No, we are not whining you. It's the truth. It's the truth. Right? So you wake up in the morning, don't before you even go ahead and start eating and all that, just sit back and reflect and meditate, think about your life, and then make sure you have affirmed, to yourself that ultimately I will succeed. I will succeed. I can't fail. Failure is not an option for me. I will succeed and all that. And before you know, you start doing the things that lead you there, right? So I just hope we've talked about that enough. So now we'll just rush to the next point. Tested and proven practices you can adopt to sharpen your mind. I have some here. I think I have about four of those, but I'll allow you to start with yours, man. Tested and proven practices you can adopt, to sharpen your mind. So, man,
okay. So firstly, I like what you said. So about the setting your mind on autopilot, and let me just quickly add before we go to this how important guarding your mind is. So because they are going to be hit, you get you face challenges, and a lot of things will happen. But once you guard your mind, it's like Aso Rock. So just see the mind as Aso Rock. So once you guard your mind, everything will be fine. So practices you can adopt to sharpen your mind. Number one, I would say that read wide.
read what? Yeah.
Read, 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 read. So for me, so that maybe for some people that don't really have time to pick a book and read, there are audiobooks that you can
Mm.
listen. So I remember when I first got to Lagos and I started working, and I wasn't really used to the traffic yet. So when I'm going to work in traffic, I would read. When I'm coming back, I would read. And around that time as well, I was preparing for some exams. So it was just like, will I be wasting 1 hour? So what will I be doing? Just read. So just time. So that time you can use it to read. So if you don't have time to maybe carry a book, some people don't just like books, they don't like the text. So there are audio books you can listen to that can help you. Then I would say, okay, I was talking about courses already. So take courses. So there's some free courses online. Just okay, I want to learn about emotional intelligence. Let me take a course on it. I want to learn about take a course on it. So there are free courses, Udemy. There are many sites that offer free courses, and you can pay for some as well if you feel that is really, important. Then learn something new every day. This okay, there's this site I subscribe to that they send me a new word every day. So
Wow.
every day I get to see a new word. So that's not saying I've learned all the words. What am I doing? I'm exposing myself to it. So
Yeah.
every day this is the same word of the day. So I know that okay, I've learned something new. So you can start from that, or you can start from learning about okay, how do I mend my relationships with so person? How do I do this? So once you read about it and practicalize it and you see results, you'll be encouraged to do more. So you can start from reading about how do I relate with my maybe partner, or how do I do this with my friends or something. So once you see immediate results, it's not normal to encourage you to read more. Then engage in intellectual conversations. I mentioned earlier, so people don't have friends that it is a problem. You need to consciously choose the people that are in your circle. If you are going anywhere in life, you want to be successful, you have to consciously choose the people that are in your circle and say, okay, this is I call this person. We are not going to be talking about the word.
Ouch. So network is fluctuating. Sorry about that, guys. Oh,
I
okay.
know, I know.
Okay.
So
So,
see, it's I'm not really but what should I play the
oops, so her network is fluctuating, and I'm trying to. I just hope that it comes on soon. I really apologize for that, guys. So we're talking about um, practices you can adopt to sharpen your mind, right? Practices you can adopt to sharpen your mind. I think she's here. See. Okay, welcome. You're welcome.
Sorry, I think
Yeah,
I
the
missed.
network problem at some point.
Yes, okay. So I was talking about engaging in intellectual conversations, right,
Yeah.
with people. Don't just talk about Big Brother Niger every 24 hours. I'm not saying you shouldn't talk about it at all if you want to. So, but have intellectual conversations, like, okay, talk about the Qualcomm price, talk about things that affect the economy, talk about things that would widen your horizon, not just sit down and be talking things that won't really add value to you. Then, of course, do physical, I'll say exercise for physical and mental. Physical, we all know that exercising is good for your mind, for yourself, for your body, right? But mental exercises are very important. And sometimes I just take quizzes and just because not because I have one exam I'm preparing for, but because I want to test, okay, I want to test the efficacy of my mind, of my brain. So there's some people once they see reduce, they've switched off. They don't want to have anything because these things test your. So you may not get it now, but you're expanding the capacity of your mind. The next one, you have an idea. Then until you, okay, I get. So there are IQ tests online that you can just say, let me test my IQ. Nobody is going to flog you that you failed. So it's just a means of expanding your capacity. And I'll say also meditation. So you have to just stay in a place and meditate for a while.
You're taking my points.
Hmm? What
You're
did you say?
taking my point, man.
Okay, so I'll leave you to continue. I think that's all I
Oh,
have
no,
here.
no, no, it's fine. Talk about it. Wait.
Yeah, that's all I have. That's all I have here. So meditation is help you focus and put
Okay.
things in perspective.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'll continue.
Okay. So the I think she's added. I said I have 4 points, and she has taken two of them. Read wide and then embrace meditation. So, but I'll add another one, like two others. But before I do that, she talked about intellectual conversations, having intellectual conversations. You need to have friends that anytime you meet with them, it's like a revival.
Yeah.
I have friends like that. So when you meet with them, any conversation you have with them is like you are reborn. You are encouraged to go back and read. I remember like years ago, I was when I was in secondary school. I used to be very proud, and some of my friends that know me, they'll be like, "Ah, Fabian, Fabian." I used to be very proud those times. And one of the people that was very close to me, Kingsley, that's his name, is way older, and I keep friends like that. Friends that are older and are very very sound. So
Mhm.
we got into this argument, and I think we were like four there. There was Kingsley, myself, and then two other people. And then I started using big words. I tried to be verbose. So people mistake verbosity for intelligence. They are two
Mm.
very different things. that you can, use grammar, you can use big words. It doesn't mean you have anything upstairs. Apologies, right? So, so,
Trust me, I
so,
know.
so I used the words that time, and then he said, Vivian, what are you doing? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm 10 and you are 2. He said that, and I was shocked. For the rest of the evening, I was quiet, right? But what that did to me, I didn't feel bad, as in, how would he say that to me in front of everybody? It made me go back to him. I was like, how do you read? What do you read? How do you study? How do you know so much? How do you, I started asking questions like that. And most times when he even says things, I wouldn't even know anything he's saying. I have to go back and Google it or go back and check the dictionary and all that. But I went closer to him. I went closer to him because I wanted to learn. So I started, cultivating the habits of anything you see, read. Anything you see, read. Read literally anything. And that way, when arguments come up, you're not just arguing based on shallow sentiments and all that, based on how you feel. You're stating facts, and it's just coming because knowledge it is designed in such a way that what you know, right, and what you've registered, what has been registered in your mind, right? When you're having a conversation, it will just flow like that. It will just flow like that. That's just the way it is. So that guy made me go back and sit up. I started studying, not just words, that will come out and use and oppress people. I started reading intentionally. So have friends like that. Have friends like that, right? So the next point I'm going to add is exploit your weaknesses. Exploit your weaknesses. Don't just leave them there. So you say, right now, this age we are is an age where you can't just say I'm not a techie person. You can't say I'm not a social media person. You can't say me. I just let me be in the traditional way. I'm not like the smart people who do all those things. No, you can't say that. You can't say that. We know that this work we have it's divided in like 4 categories. Those are actually taking up projects now. There are those who are doing STEM. That's the abbreviation: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I think that's it. So if you don't fall in, if you're not good at mathematics, find something you're good at. Not engineering. Find at least something digital and learn. Exploit your weaknesses. Don't say because I don't know this, because I can't do this, you just stay there. The world will move and then you'll still be there. And nobody will look at you. That's how the society is. Your story, I said some weeks back, your story only becomes inspiring when you have results. No matter what you went through, no matter how much you feel you are incapacitated or something, you feel like things are not working out well, you feel like you have certain weaknesses and then there are things you cannot do. Nobody wants to know the things you cannot do. But when you have results, even your weaknesses becomes like a strength, right? When you have results, people overlook your flaws, overlook your mistakes, and then focus on that thing you can do. So exploit your weaknesses. What is that thing you feel like you cannot do? But you know that if you do it, if you go ahead and do it, it will make you travel far. What is that thing? You know it as even as you're listening to me right now. Exploit it, don't just leave it there. And then the last one is find out the least productive thing you do every day and stop it or limit it. Some of us, the first thing we do when we wake up is check our phones, social media and all. I'm guilty sometimes. I'm guilty. I'm guilty sometimes. But it's not fair. It's not fair on our dreams. It's not fair on our future. It's not fair on the kind of person we want to be. If you keep on doing those things, the truth is, because if you wake up and in the first 20 minutes of the day, you are looking at social media, you get hooked. And then you just stay there. There will be one chat you have to respond to. There will be one message that will be so enticing. You can't just, dismiss it and all that. So the first 20 minutes of the morning, first hours of the morning, don't check your phone. Keep it far from you if you have to. Find out the least productive thing you do every day and limit it. That way, you'll be sharpening your mind. Because if you keep feeding your mind with unproductive things, you can't be productive and unproductive. Your mind cannot be two things. It cannot be productive and unproductive. It has to be one, right? Yeah. So the last subhead before we conclude for this evening is those habits that sap the vigor of the mind and how we can stop them. Habits that sap the vigor of the mind. Right. I just have one of them, and then I'll leave you to talk about it. Inactivity, not doing anything at all. You know, you can be playing games, but you're inactive. Inactive is not like the literal sense of the word. Is when I say inactive, I mean that what you're supposed to be doing that will add value to you or your life, you're not doing it, but you're focusing on something that I classify as junk, right? Not just junk food, junk activities. So when you focus, you take your time and then you do things that will not add to your life in any way, whether in the short term or in the long term, you are inactive. That's how I describe it. So inactivity saps the vigor of the mind. When you spend time doing things that don't add value to you, you spend time watching movies 247, Big Brother Nigeria, like you just said, games, gossips, right? Interacting with friends that all you talk about is boys and girls and relationships and dating and things like that. At the end of the day, you feel drained. You are inactive at that point, and then because nothing is being added to your life, because no value is added to your life, you end up realizing that you are going nowhere. So about that subhead, man, what do you have
So
for us?
I feel that we just don't justice to it because everything is tied to every habit is tied to being inactive. So you're
Mm,
distracted, right? As you said, social media. So 24/7. Yeah. Some people not even eat, right? It's not eating on social media. As I'm moving from Tunde ethnos, they are moving to Tunde that is not ethnos. They are moving
mm,
from one place to the other. That you have your data once you load like this is
network.
Instagram. You don't understand? There should be moderation, right? So if you realize that, and there's something about how this even affects your mind. So what you see all the time, you're seeing people. I saw a post recently, entrepreneur that said, I am not doing well in this COVID period. I have made losses. So why is this person saying this? Because once you open social media, see this person in Dubai, this person. So yeah, your mind is saying, why is it that you are the only one? It's not only you. You are not alone. Do you understand? So that's another thing that social media does. It makes you think that the
Yeah.
other person is fine. People are see us shopping now. You look at the bike and say, see everything. See the cars, see everything. Because your mind is saying that why am I not like this? Why am I not like this? Some people will go into depression because of social media. So that's on the side. So of course that can sap the vigor of your mind. Then not only social media, some people they are not on social media but internet. The internet is not only social media, there's the internet,
Yeah.
right? So
Sure.
you're just on the internet, you're just surfing the web, you're not surfing anything that's adding value to you. They're just or some people games, screen time. So they're just on games on their phone. So and for all this, I think that there are apps now that help you calculate the amount of time you spend on all these apps. So the amount of time you spend on Instagram, the amount of time you spend your screen time. There's some apps that help you calculate it. So that way you can re-engineer your mind. By the time
But
you realize,
Madi, did you have the names of those apps so you could just tell us so we
no,
take note of them?
no,
Because some
I'll
people
send
will be like, the names of those apps. Can you remember any one of them?
no, not now.
So we'll have to do that research on our own. Those apps that help us,
Apps, which I don't know, but there are apps that actually do that.
Okay.
So as you mentioned, mindless chatters. There's no focus. They're just talking about how this person, how your neighbor has done this. I don't understand sometimes. Some people will leave their house, go to another person's house. I don't know how to do it. I don't know. Maybe it's me. But you just be talking and there's no focus. It's not like it's adding anything to you, right? So things like that will start before you know it, your mind is tired. Your mind is there's no strength. You're just weak mentally. You can't engage in conversations. You're just people are talking about things that important. You're just there because you can't contribute. Do you understand? So, and that is what all these things do to the mind. And I would say restlessness. Some people are just restless. Nothing is wrong with them. Oh. Someone just call you, Fabian, please, let's go out now. Just carry your bag and you are out. Why? Okay, so what are you going to do? So I'm not saying you should not hang out, right? But what I'm saying is this: every time you're the one, you don't even have people that wants you, people that don't have a goal, they will drag you to help you fulfill their own goal. Let me say it in
Yeah.
better. People that don't have a goal, somebody will drag you so that you can fulfill their own goal. So you don't have any, you are just there. Do you understand? So you are restless. You want to be in the city mall. You are the one that is in this mall. You are the one that is in this cinema. You can't just be in a place to rest, to meditate, and plan your life. Do you understand? But you just want to be everywhere. That also serves the ego of the mind. Then I'll say people that have like attitude, they don't care. So if you tell them, I had a friend when I was in the university. I was a friend. Okay, we did some courses together. So if you tell him, if you say, why are you? No, there's nothing you can tell him. He has an answer for you. Like he doesn't really care. So if you say,
Mm.
but don't you know that you're not going to graduate? Say, I tell you I want to graduate. So people like that, there's nothing you can do. If you say, but don't you know that if you go in this direction, this is going to happen? Say, hey, I know, I want you to. They're just floating. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
people like think that they should take time. It's important that as individuals we take out time to rate our productivity. So today, what have I done that is productive? Right? Today, what have I done that has added to me? It's very important. Me, sometimes I'm also guilty of this. So, but I know it's very important that throughout the day, you just sit down and say, okay, or maybe you're in the midst of a big. But sometimes, as I said, there are a lot of activity, but in the real sense of it, is it adding value to you? So it left
Yeah.
you to remove yourself and say, okay, am I actually being productive? Is this really adding value, to me? So then other thing, maybe oversleeping, of course. People that sleep.
Okay, so somebody is social figure. Okay.
Is it on
Somebody's
your phone?
okay, somebody's suggesting apps that can help limit time on social media. There's social fever. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Adedoye. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so as I said, oversleeping, overthinking, people pleasers, their mind is gone. They are complaining, always complaining. I know I had a discussion with you earlier today about when you have a problem, you fix it. You don't complain. You are just there, you're complaining about the problem. So it doesn't solve the problem. So those are habits that can actually sap the vigor.
Wow. Thank you so much, ma. It's been an amazing time. Trust me, I've learned so much. And one of the most profound things I've learned today is change that lasts starts, from the mind. Change that lasts starts from the mind. And as I started, I said that um, even if you lost your possessions, you lost your possessions, you lost friends, you lost family, and you didn't lose your mind. You can always get all those things back, right? So whatever you lose, don't lose your mind. Don't lose your mind. Thank you so much for staying up with us now. Thank you, Adedoyin. Bukola, you're doing amazing. Thank you for the apps you've posted there. Those of us who do not have any knowledge of it, we can always check it out and then incorporate it into our lives. It doesn't, there's no harm there adding that app to the list of apps you have on your phone, to help restrict um, time wastage and all that. So thank you so much. I would like to bring you back to the youth Pulley one of these days when you're free. when you're free. I know it's
You know,
not. I know.
you
Yeah, I know.
know the complexity.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know. Okay. So thank you,
Just
ma.
trust
Um,
me, trust me when the need arises, you can reach
you so much, man. Thank you. All right. So
Mm.
we'll be going we're going out of the stage now. So if you have questions, you can always drop them before we leave, or if you have any contributions, you can drop them before we leave. Denise, it was a pleasure joining the conversation. It was a pleasure having you at Dedoyen. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, everybody who joined today. Until we come again next week, my name is Vivian Collins, and this is the Youth Police Show. Next, we're talking about relationships. It's the third Wednesday, and every third Wednesday, my heart just beats for joy because because I know people love relationship talks, and well, I'm here. I don't run away from those things. So we'll be here. We'll be talking about. We have like 11 series on love is a fraud, right? There's something we're talking about. But we have like 11 series, but I'll just take the third one, and that'll be it. The topic will be um, love as an evidence of things not seen. You know,
Mm.
it's, it's crazy. Don't worry. Let's love as an evidence of things not seen. It's going to be amazing. So if you're here, just make sure you join us next week, and you will not regret it. All right. So have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Use face masks, nose masks when necessary. All right, and we'll be good. Thank you very much. Bye.